Hi guys, it's Ona, your energy customer service rep from Chicago, and Dr. Vicky for this episode of Moonshine, full moon in Pisces, lunar eclipse. I can keep going. That's going to occur on Tuesday, September 17th at 9:34 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you got to adjust to where your home base is there. But it is it is really a moon full of a lot of connection to spirit, like so much that Giblets pulled the koala card yesterday. If you want to just let spirit just throw it in the air and let spirit let it guide you kind of a week. I definitely feel that sort of energy. So Dr. Vicky and I look at the moon every month and see how it can impact our day-to-day and being able to maybe forgive ourselves or recognize something as a growth spurt or a rite of passage in our own lives that can help you rein in your power. So, Dr. Vicky,
Yes, I'm in Neptuneville. Can you tell? Like this is Pisces, right?
Pisces,
I'm trying to focus and I won't focus.
the last sign in the zodiac, the one that has absorbed all of the information that we have to give out to the universe and sort of put it through a grinder and then deliver it back in a way where we can be creative, we can all be artists, we can all spirit rights. It's a time that channeling, I think, would be away from the moon as when the eclipse happens, would be a very powerful time, regardless of your sign. This is that time of year. It is a
Well,
harvest moon, right, Vicky? It's a
I think there'll be a big ending at this one. Something is coming to an end. Something is being released.
we know that during Mystic Sisters, this that we do every Saturday, that this is a time, the week where we started a conversation about this is a big week.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
It's
brace yourself
it's
kind of thing.
it's so very interesting because it's been so intense. Like you really have a sense that you can't even like last week was the debate, right? And it was so everything was and then we start this week off with the second attempt on 45, right? And so and
You know,
so so this is now there's a whole nother story. And then something's gonna happen on the eclipse and there's gonna be a whole nother story. And
it
it's just
is. Yeah.
right, and you can't prepare for it, you can't really and I think one of the things that's going to be important to realize is this particular new full moon, sorry, eclipse is conjunct Neptune, and Neptune's at the end of Pisces, which is at the end, like you say, is at the end of the zodiac. And the
Yeah.
next and then so the next big thing that happens is in 2026, Saturn, which is now in Pisces,
Uh-huh.
conjoins Neptune, but on the first degree of Aries. So this, in a way, is it's like a huge.
Okay.
It feels like a huge
Mm-hmm.
or like that moon energy, just washing away. There's like a washing away, and so when we rise again, because when you go from Pisces to Aries, you're going from the great cosmic sea to a
Yep.
beingness, right? Aries is this energy, right, coming up and out
And I
and
know,
expressing
yeah,
itself.
that is definitely the type of energy that's happening there. And that's got it. That's a volcanic kind of thing, like something coming out of the ocean, basically, which is funny because we were just talking about the diatomaceous earth, which is also a connection to this moon. But I love this idea that you said unprepared awareness. It's an 8 of Wands day, right? If that is the numerology of the day.
Yeah.
And that is something to reflect on. Just, it should be written on your bathroom mirror at this point, in whatever shade of, free pink lipstick there is unprepared awareness, because that is the motion of this full moon. And that
Yes.
awareness comes from being able to communicate, I think, with something outside of just another person, where we can verbally or even sign language understand what somebody's saying, but being able to take in language that is from intuition in that space in your head that writes things down when it makes sense, is part of this full moon energy. Again,
Yes.
away from the moon. With the eclipse, what? Right? Let's look at the chart, because there's so much Piscean influence, no matter what direction you turn in.
Do you want to look at the chart with the Sabian symbols, or do you want to just look at the chart? Which one would you
I
prefer?
think the
We can
Sabian
look at both of them.
symbols, yeah, the
Sabian?
one with the Sabian symbols is
Okay.
important, because I said, wait, does that have anything to do with grounding yourself? Because the diatomaceous is earth, is fossilized algae skeletal remains, and it is like, that's what's needed, is to ground yourself so generously, that you can start to channel in this information, because the Pisces moon is very, very psychic. It just is.
So this is the chart. This is for Washington, D.C. Thank you to those people watching this who do not live in the United States.
It's okay. It's still going to affect you too. It's still going to affect you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's freaking Jupiter. So Jupiter used to rule Pisces.
Yes.
Neptune rules Pisces now, and now it's all kissing up to the moon. This is that energy that is unavoidable, and a great time to get some ideas into form. With
Yes,
Virgo on the other side going,
it's very fertile for the imagination, but of course you can utilize that energy in a positive way by imagining the future that you want to live, or you can become completely delusional. Now there's a fine line, I think, even for those of us who are aspiring for a different kind of world. There's that sun in Virgo saying, well, all right, that's fine. However, this is what you're dealing with. This is what needs to be healed. These are the details that need to be attended to.
Yeah.
I think that's an important part. And Mercury is part of that, right?
Yeah.
And we have Mercury in an opposition to Saturn, right? Because Mercury is the dispositor of the sun, and Mercury's in Virgo, and just came out of retrograde, just came out of shadow, and is now
home
opposite Saturn, saying this is the parameters of our reality. And you can utilize your imagination, but you also have to have your feet on the ground.
Yeah.
And in some places, the ground's shaken.
Yes. Well, that's a whole Mars and Cancer story that deserves its own chapter. Cosmic, like, freak show, right? But this is like so directly related to, if you're feeling kind of wonky, if you feel like you're reaching for more alcohol than you would, if you've got friends popping up out of nowhere and you're like, wow, that was sweet, I was just thinking about you, kind of thing. This is that type of energy that is spirit connecting to you, telling you, follow this path today, because this is you're gonna be learned.
The other thing I want to warn folks about is about drinking or using some sort of mind-altering substance, because it's potentiated at this time with this full moon in Pisces, conjunct Neptune. so close to the equinox. So the equinox is always a time of when the veil is thin, and it gets even thinner as we get towards Halloween, right, or Samhain. So this is a time of leaving,
Yeah.
and so we have to be very uh, aware that what we would normally be able to tolerate, we might not be able to tolerate. And then I think includes medications.
Yeah.
So if if you're like popping a few Advil because you have a headache, it might be better to pop a few less.
Yeah.
Or instead of taking 3, take 2, or instead of taking 2, take 1, just to watch, and this is not a medical thing, and I'm not giving anybody medical advice here. This is just my understanding of Pisces, and
Yeah.
this energy can potentiate. And a lot of times Pisces, just in general, I've had a lot of patients who are Pisces. They never seem to react to and respond to medication the
Yeah.
way normal people, what we'll put on quote, nor your average person. They're usually much more sensitive to the chemical stuff. So you have to be, and so with this full moon in Pisces, I think we all have to watch for that.
It's something. It is something. There's a lot of upheaval odor in the air. And you know what? It's funny that that word, like, I gotta thank Spirit for more if they ever dug up that word, not just people fluids, but they're ripping up the road. So it's really a time where, what's coming off and off of and on the ground is something to focus on because there is a lot of energy coming in, and it is a really good time to concretize some of those energies, some of the poems and, music. Oh my gosh, what a great moon to, it is Neil Young's Harvest Moon, right? It's
Yeah.
moon.
Yeah, I was listening to Neil Young today. I actually was listening to some music back from when I was a teenager, and I started remembering stuff I hadn't remembered in like ages. And I think that's also part of uh this lunar eclipse energy. The eclipses are on the south node now, so the south node is always about the past, and it is a releasing energy. And of course, full moon's release, right? So this, I just want to read the Sabian symbols for these degrees. So the moon is at 26 of Pisces, says watching a very thin crescent moon, thin moon crescent appearing at sunset. Different people realize that the time has come to go ahead with their different projects, and the meaning is freedom of choice. Civilization demands conformity, but the soul requires freedom to choose what comes next. Exercise your free will. And then it's in opposition to the sun at 26 degrees Virgo. A boy with a censer serves the priest near an altar. Sacred duty of service. To function on the earth plane, disincarnate spiritual beings need us to generate a certain type of energy through exact performance of ritual, studying humility as a spiritual purpose practice. So this is about focusing. This is really about, actually, honestly, it's about doing your work, right? And focusing,
Mhm.
um, and the duty of service. I mean, I certainly, as a chiropractor for however many 30, I hate to say it, 36, 30 something years now,
Mhm.
37. I don't know. I can't do math in my head. You being a nurse for that long as well. I mean,
Mhm.
we are service. We've always been service providers. Now, mostly I do astrology, but that's still a service. And it's in the and you do your art as a service. It's in the it's in the line of healing, right? So
Yeah.
this can be a very healing moon and an opportunity for healing. But the healing, I think, comes through release and filtration, like we talked about the diatomaceous earth, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you put in your fish filter, right? They put the diatomaceous earth to filter out the impurities. And Pisces, the fish can get very toxic if it doesn't filter out the impurities out of its environment. So that includes not just your emotional environment, but what you're putting in your head,
Yep.
what you're wearing on your body. If certain things, I like for me to wear anything but cotton,
Mhm.
wool, or rayon, like those are the only three things I can really, and not like itchy wool either. Usually
I
cotton.
can't do wool. Yeah, I cannot, everybody says, oh, this is really soft. It's washed. It's this. It's a no, no. I'm like a cat in a sweater on 100-degree day. Like that
That's
is
good. That's your Mediterranean blood. I have Irish in me, so
no.
I'm like, let's put the scarf on, right?
Cut the hole in the sweater. There's no, I can't. I can't do both. There are certain things that we know with the neuropathy and stuff like that. I didn't wear socks for like a year after chemo
Yeah.
because it was so painful to have something that close to my skin. It just triggered every,
Yeah, it just sort of increases your sensitivity in a way. There's like the ability to depress that you sort of lose with the neuropathy because it's so, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So
So
yeah, so that's what
it
I
is
think.
that kind of moon. Again, the Pisces rules the feet. So, tripping on yourself, tripping over yourself. Mine have, one is elevated right now because it's like twice the size of the other one. It's been on and off all summer, directly related to the heat, which has been like super hot. It's just been
And
super
it's your left foot or your right foot?
left.
Okay. So
Always
I always see, and you're a righty or a lefty?
righty.
So I would see that as leaving something behind. There's something that you need to maybe leave
It's
behind.
always that, yeah. So, you know, time for
So I also want to point out that, the eclipses, we have eclipses because the eclipses happen within, now this is not a total lunar eclipse, only partial, so only part of the moon gets covered, because the moon itself is so far away from the nodes, but it's still within the 18 degrees that you would consider it an eclipse.
yeah.
But we do look at the nodes, and Mars is square the nodes. In fact, Sunday, when the ex-pres got an attempt, I guess, Mars was exactly square the nodes, and the resolution node was the north node in Aries. So that the Mars, even though it's maybe it's wide, it's like it's a little too wide to be square to the sun and moon, but
Mhm.
it's very tight on the nodes, and that's sort of the whole idea of eclipses is the vibration from that node. So
Yeah.
this is a very fraught time, and we are going to have this Mars go retrograde in December, and then it retrogrades back. It's in Leo when it retrogrades, but it retrogrades back into Cancer and spends most of its retrograde period in Cancer. And we're a Cancer country, and it's very emotional. And that's going to be the time between when Kamala gets elected and when she's supposed to be inaugurated. So that whole it's going to be interesting. But all
Yeah.
of that is sort of
Yeah.
all of it is connected to this. So why I mention it, because what happens now will have permutations of you know, what we're working with in a couple of months, I think.
Yeah. Mars in Cancer has been something. And since Mars has been in Cancer, we haven't had any rain at all, at all. Like
Yeah,
ever.
we haven't had
Wow.
rain in I 3 weeks, I think, here. Yeah.
It makes me so sad because the plants, people don't water their, it's expensive to use the water. That's right there. It's like it's a lot. So at the end of season, perennials, they either let them die down so the life cycle won't be explosive next year, or they just stop taking care of their thing. I don't know what's going on. Everything's dry. Everything's dry. So this Pisces full moon, I hope that, I wonder, honestly, with its square to Jupiter and who used to rule it, and its conjunction to Pluto, it's a Neptune.
Well, there's going to be a flood somewhere.
There's going to be a production of water.
It's not going to be in Chicago, maybe, or in Wareham, Massachusetts, but
I in no way am meaning to laugh about a flood. If you are in that situation,
yes,
it is horrific. And there's like no escape. I've had a flooded basement and I wanted to lose my shit all over the place, right? I don't mean to belittle that at all, but last night I was talking to the MICU nurses about astrology a little bit about the moon. The moon moves into Pisces right around this time. I didn't really notice it, but I knew in the back of my head there was going to be a switch, right? My phone rang and it was another nurse who was having a flood and another floor from a sink and a toilet. So we had to get a hold of engineering. And I put the phone on and I looked at them and I said, I looked at the clock, I said, and the moon just went into Pisces. So it is that sort of like poof of energy kind of thing that redirects you.
yeah. And that's something else. If you are in an area where they're expecting rain, expect it to be more than they're saying. So if you happen to be in that area, use caution with this full moon. I'm not usually one to say stuff like that, but I think that this is definitely that kind of full moon with Jupiter squaring it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you look at like just from a physical perspective, where the planets are having their own kind of spin and they're in a certain kind of alignment that trickles down to the energy we're trying to interpret. It affects you, right? It affects you.
We also have Chiron in this chart. We have Chiron opposite Venus. So
Oh,
this is an awareness around, which I think is exact as we do this today on the 16th, an awareness around what healing is necessary. So, all these oppositions bring awareness. We have the opposition between the
good.
sun and the moon, between Mercury and Saturn, and between Venus and Chiron.
And Venus is in Libra. That's her homeland.
Mhm.
That's all artsy fartsy stuff.
And trine Jupiter, that's lovely.
And he's all squaring up on the moon.
And then just to point out that we have a grand trine to the sun.
Yeah, this
with,
is.
With Pluto and Uranus.
Oh my God.
And then it's making a kite with the moon.
This is good energy. This is
Neptune.
workable.
This is transformational energy. This is like the giant, this is the blue tsunami. We keep talking about the tsunami. This is it. This is it. This is the start of the blue tsunami. And so
there's a lot of work to do.
Well, we have to stay on top of the wave because you don't want to drown at the bottom of the tsunami.
No,
No. I've been telling people, when I send them their recording, I say, wax up your surfboards. We're about to surf the blue tsunami. So this is just the wave.
I'm not worried about the wave. I'm worried about the pushback.
Well, I mean, there's going to be something. There's going to be something. Well, we can overcome. We can overcome all of it. We don't even have to have that experience. We don't have to have that experience. We can decide not to have that experience, and the experience won't happen if we learn the lesson.
Yeah.
If we learn the lesson. And I think more and more people are getting it. I really do. I mean, I think I'm too optimistic. I don't know.
I'm so close to fizzling it out, to be honest. Before the little broadcast here, we had a little card pull and those side notes, like how long is this gonna last? Because I don't know how much longer I can handle it, sort of thing. And it was like 1 to 3 weeks. We both got swords in the 1, 2, 3 range. So those represent weeks. This is for entertainment purposes only, the card pull, but I think this hang in there energy is definitely the feeling. The 8 of Wands kind of energy for the day of the full moon, lunar eclipse, super harvest.
Right. And change, that Eight of Swords is things coming fast and furious, fast and
Prepared
furious.
awareness, prepared awareness. I really, really like that. The stone that has been sort of like flirting with me about this new moon as I focus into it and sort of get into this energy. I do have a very clear kind of ammonia kind of garbage sort of. It was a weekend where there was a whole lot going on, but this sewery kind of energy, like getting to the bottom of stuff,
Getting to the bottom of the swamp, I guess.
getting to the bottom of the swamp, and started using diatomaceous earth, which gave me results in less than 24 hours. So that was just like nuts. But labradorite is kind of the spry stone for this full moon. I feel like it is super accessible. So anything if it comes into like a slab, a sphere, you know, what, a piece, a chunk, anything, any labradorite sort of thing that truly helps you narrow in a focus, whether you're trying to spirit right and you haven't, or you're trying to remember your dreams a little bit more and got that journal at the bedside, but there's nothing in it. Start making symbols that will help you recognize patterns of precognition, because the psychic awareness is so available to you right now that I think this full moon can be pretty freaking awesome,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes.
What do you think? I think so. I think so. Listen to,
Did you wanna pull cards you want me to
yeah,
pull?
let's pull a card. What kind of card you want to pull?
I'm gonna pull a Mystic Sisters,
Okay.
that's what I did.
I don't have an oracle deck, but the one that giblets, the one that smells like dog treats, the animal spirit deck smells like dog treats. So
Well, I love that deck, so.
is it not the cutest deck? Oh my God.
I have it, but
I'm
I
gonna
have
pull from my new
I
deck.
have the big one. Oh, what's that?
I'm
Tarot?
gonna pull from my new deck, the Artist Decoded, which now makes a lot more sense that I was drawn to it at the bookstore, the Underbridge bookstore. They have, it's the closest walkable, and they have a nice selection of independent decks.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, they're really, it's a great place. And I went to the Lakeview Festival of the Arts. If any of y'all want to know, I did go there, but it was so wildly expensive that it was almost embarrassing. You know, it was the people that do the big sofa, one of a kind shows that charge a lot of money for a pair of, you know, earrings. And I thought, wow, but I went there with the idea to get a little bit of insight on something different that I want to do with my own art, inspiration, and see what's trending, what do people need, what's, you know, what are things going for, kind of thing. So the objective was met. The objective was met. I think I'm going to use that picture that I sent you for the thumbnail for this full moon. And I, yeah, definitely want to pull like just one card, just a little focus card. Ooh, we could use for this full moon in Pisces. Two of them fell out, the Emperor and the Queen of Cups. See what's cool about this deck?
the Emperor and the Queen. That's a beautiful deck.
You really have to focus to find the person, or it's a silhouette of, and it helps, that blank canvas sort of thing helps with imagery. And I think this Pisces full moon is very much about that.
Well, that's it. I mean, Pisces rules television
Yeah.
and film and photography.
So we could say Emperor is what? The Virgo sun, right?
Well, the Emperor is Aries, but that's the North Node.
North Node, and that is, yeah, 4. Yeah, it's not, but this would be like maybe the Sun and Moon kind of thing, Queen of Cups. Or if you want to reverse it, the sort of paying attention to the emotional body and being able to create structure out of it.
It's interesting because we were asking other questions before we got on, which we're not going to talk about in this one, but we got the Queen of Cups. We both got the Queen of Cups when we were asking about 2.0, and there's just, yeah. Are you okay over there?
It's charged. No, I was looking to see if any other card fell on the floor, but yeah, that fell right out. No, Jeff was
So,
sleeping
so,
like a little ham.
so I picked a Mystic Sister.
Yes.
Card is Awakening.
Yeah.
Awakening. And it's so, I know it's this is terrible here. Here we go. You can see she's lying there. Okay, so it says, sprouting, new beginnings, and dawning. The awakening goddess opens her eyes to a fresh world bursting with life. She sprouts from the earth and is thoroughly grounded, which is exactly what you said. However, she has been dreaming for so long. She finds she finds that she has become entangled in roots. New beginnings and awakening simultaneously offer exhilaration and recognition of the substantial struggles ahead, which is exactly what we said, right? The awareness of what we need to do. Drawing this card suggests that you have found yourself in such a state, but trust that the momentum of nature is on your side. Isn't it interesting how everybody keeps talking about momentum? Who has the momentum? The spring goddess encourages you to trust your own innate abilities to make progress and have faith you will push through.
Yeah.
That's the message from the Mystic Sisters.
It sounds right. It sounds like the Pisces full moon. Awareness, harnessing it in, becoming aware of. Don't stare straight at it.
Dreaming the dream.
Dreams, just dreams. Pisces is one of Pisces' multiple themes that runs right through it. So if you're having more psychic dreams, if you're having interrupted sleep pattern, it's all good. It's all good, right? All right, you guys, thank you so very, very much. I'm going to post this prior to the full moon. Enjoy it. I will get something set up together, but it's right after our astrology class. So we'll be able to honor it and take a look at it and throw wishes back there. And I'll have a full moon altar up before day's end. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you, love you, love you.
Bye, everyone.
We couldn't be more perfect because I hear the construction is starting to attend it across the street. So
All right,
rounds
guys.
up.
Oh, it's all good, babe. It's all good.
Thank you.
Take care. Namaste.